Yo me llamo Marsha Almodovar y soy de Puerto Rico. Nací en Nueva York y he vivido aquí en Asheville como por 16, 17 años y hablo en Spanglish. So voy a vacillate between English and Spanish porque eso es como más, the most fluent language I talk is Spanglish. So a lot of my art is voluptuous, big Latinas or a version of myself, women. And the reason why I decided to go that route, or it was so prolific for me to create in that style, is because I kind of feel like in this country where there's so much white supremacy and colonial oppression, we view sexuality and femininity and women in a certain frame, in a certain lens. Either you're like in this like sort of pantsuit nation frame of femininity and feminism and considered intelligence for that. But I wanted to challenge that notion in actually understanding that, and there's a space for that conversation where beauty doesn't have to be by this like patriarchal standard. It doesn't have to be sort of like this religious-based ideology. We can be feminine and express ourselves and look the way we want and be naked and not be considered unintelligent or have no output in the world. It really bothers me that the notion of a woman wearing tight clothes or being naked somehow indicates their intelligence or is like a note to who they are inside. I think that's society's way and comes back to, you know, religion and the way that puritanical view of conformity and taking away your own sort of self-expression and how you want to identify in the world to these watered down to these things. Like a woman's naked body isn't only used for sex or the male gaze. There's more to women and showing their bodies and expressing themselves than that. And I think we as a society have a lot of no judgment, but there's so many isms and implicit biases that come into play when we see a woman that presents herself outside of the norm and, you know, make a note on her intelligence or who she is. And I think that that's such a closed-minded, like colonial way of oppressing people in their individuality. And I think the biggest part in fighting these big systems of oppression is to show up through art, is to express yourself how you would want and constantly speak to that, you know. I think that there's a lot of work to do in our society, whether we're in nonprofits or for-profit or just in society in general, viewing people and their humanity for how we view they should show up. But I do believe the naked body and being a woman and fully being present in who yourself without a Eurocentric sort of notion of how we should show up is important to share and express in who we are. So this is my book, Mucho Mucho. It's a Spanish and English children's book, early elementary school. And so what inspired me to write this book is I wanted to have a early aged book that was colorful and that has lots of characters and things from the island of Puerto Rico. But also, I wanted to do a story with an Afro-Latina character because that is, it's not so prevalent in book. Mucho without, no matter what your economic background is or how much money you have or if you come from a traditional mother and father family home, I really wanted that to be highlighted. And I just kind of wanted to share the story of you could love nature and the sun and flowers and your community, as well as anything else. And those things are as valuable as things that we can buy in the store, a little bit more non-traditional. And yeah, it was a major accomplishment for me. I've always wanted to do that. I used to be a preschool teacher, Spanish language preschool teacher, which is something that my life is gonna possibly revert back to really soon. And it just was the happiest time in my life, working with kids and reading to kids and seeing children see themselves in stories that were written and read to them. And it's always something that has lasted within my heart for a really long time. And I've just always had this idea of doing this. And I won a Zedek Award last year, which thank you, Zedek, for that. And I was gifted with these funds from that award. And I thought, what a better way to give back to my community, as my community is seen, valued, and given back to me, by doing this project of my heart, which is writing this Spanish language bilingual children's book. And yeah, and then it came to fruition, and I'm so stoked about it. I'm really proud of it. And I know writing a children's book to some people might not be a major accomplishment, but for me it meant everything, and I want to continue doing that. I find the process really exhilarating, from the binding of the book and the matting and the coloring and being able to illustrate all the pages. And currently, you can purchase the book either on my Instagram, private message me. My Instagram handle is my first and last name, Marsha Almodovar. And I could send it out to you, or most of the art pop-ups that I do in town, whether it's an art show or, you know, a quick little thing, I bring my book and you'll see my paintings. And also at the Noir Collective here on Eagle Street. Yeah, I'm really happy to have that at that little righteous bookstore that my friend Alexandria owns and runs. I mean, I guess as we move forward in the chaos of this world, in liberation is you know, in anger. Some people, it's out of pure love and showing what kind of world we want to have for our children and our generation. And I think that's expressed through beauty in art. And also, you know, there is marching in the streets and there's call to actions and, you know, really engaging in mutual aid and all these other bits. And art is just another form of that. And so I encourage people to look within themselves and help promote that message.